Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with GBM Promoter Izzy Asif. Izzy, good to see you. You got a fight coming up as well next weekend. Shakan Pitters gunning for the European title against Daniel Blenda dos Santos. Just talk me through that card.
Yeah, good to see you, mate. Been a while, but yeah, good to see you. Yeah, huge card, massive card in the capital. Three title fights on, Hughie Fury on, two top prospects. Kieran Malloy in a good fight as well. But yeah, top of the bill, Daniel dos Santos versus Shakan Pitters for light heavyweight European title. Yeah, it's a tough fight. It's a tough fight, and I think Shakan Pitters has got to be on absolute peak form to take that belt away because Daniel's extremely confident at the minute and really fancies chances to take that belt back to France.
Yeah, I've been seeing you promoting this fight and suggesting that, look, this is really kind of make or break for Shakan Pitters. Do you really feel those stakes are there? Like, if he doesn't do it, it might be the end of the road for him.
Look, let's not kid ourselves. You know, it's a tough business, and this is a great opportunity to get a European scalp on a home turf. I'm his home promoter to have the chance. He's not going to get many better like this. Obviously, he's a former British champion. I believe this is it now. He's had 18 months of inactivity. You know, he's had a tune-up fight a few months ago on our card, and this is a massive opportunity. If he wants them big nights, he wants your Dan Aziz revenge. He wants your Craig Richardson, your Louis Edmondson. He's got to beat Daniel dos Santos. I really believe this is a massive fight for Shakan Pitters, and I believe one that he will deliver. I think you'll see the best Shakan Pitters April the 4th live on the zone, and he's going to be crowned as the European light heavyweight champion.
You mentioned at the start about this fight being in the capital, and a lot of your work happens up in the northern part of the country. Is there a different way you have to cater to boxing fans presenting fights up in the north than there is in the centre of the UK?
But what it is, I'm sick of being the best promoter in north of England, so I thought let's come down south and conquer that. And I'm listen, it's just no, I think boxing fans are boxing fans. You know, obviously you have certain fighters on with ever geographically you put cards on in London, you have certain fighters on, but there's no difference. It's an event, and your boxing fans are boxing fans that come and watch. I'm just gonna make sure I put the right fights on, whether it's London or up north Newcastle. You know, you want to put good fights on, and not forgetting that you get what your call might get 1,200, 1,500 people, but there's hundreds of thousands potentially watching it live on the zone on the broadcast. So for me, it's more than the kind of the venue. You're thinking about the viewers at home, your fans at home. You know how they're going to perceive the show, how much they're going to enjoy the fight. So when I'm matching fights up, yeah, does it make a difference whether it's in London or Newcastle? Maybe for the ticket sales aspect, yeah. Actual entertainment and value of fights, it's irrelevant where it is. I've got to make sure I put good fights on and good equally matched fights on, which I believe I have got extremely good matches on this card. Three very equally poised title fights that could go either way.
Got a lot of interest in the form of Hughie Fury in his career. A lot of people want to see Hughie be in a position to be in one of those world title fights in the very near future. How close or what is the plan for Hughie to get into those positions?
Well, this is one tune-up fight, I like to call it. I don't like wording the tune-up because every fight's dangerous, especially in the heavyweight division, a fight that we expect him to win against a local Brit. And then it's time to let loose and roll the dice and really put him up against the big names, the guys who people are going to believe out there that Hughie might lose against. A fight that people think if Hughie really got it in him, has he got enough in him to beat him? That's the kind of fight we want next. But let's get past April the 4th, get past Van Garbner, and then we're going to go maybe potentially June, maybe mid-June, late June. Expect a huge fight for Hughie Fury and a name that's really going to cause some noise and make people stand up and say Hughie Fury still got that ability, still got it in him to be out fighting it with the big boys in the world.
How close was that fight with Dave Allen?
Well, I reckon if the Johnny Fisher fight didn't happen, we would have seen Dave Allen and Hughie Fury at the Doncaster card May the 23rd. I believe that would have happened, but obviously uh, Dave's was contractor. Well, obviously went for the Johnny Fisher fight, which I think is a huge opportunity for him. I think he was extremely unfortunate not to get the nod last time, and I think he'd be very confident. Dave's obviously a good friend of mine. I like Johnny Fisher as well. Dave and me have known each other for years, and I think he'll be really confident to have a number on. But maybe Johnny Fisher, maybe one for the future. Who knows? Dave Allen, Hughie Fury, I think could still sell. It's still a good fight. But look, we've got other plans at the moment for Hughie, and we're expecting a massive fight for him in June, late June potentially, and see what he's about. See how much he's got. See all the kind of think Peter Fury been telling me, he wants to fight the best. He don't want to be rejecting any fights. See if he's still got it in him.
On to that 23rd of May card, Harper versus Zimmerman. I know that you did the pre-sale for it. How have tickets gone, and what's the anticipation of filling up the venue?
Yeah, we've done over 7,000 tickets already. With what the fighters have taken, been a massive sell, but it's a great card. Listen, you watch boxing up and down the country. I'm not saying it's the best card we've seen this year, but there's not many card that match beat what we've done. It's a great card, top to bottom. Even the undercards, you've got guys fighting each other. Who are undefeated fighters. We've got some rivalry there. And it's a great card. We've done over 7,000 tickets. I'm expecting. I'd be disappointed if we do anything less than 10,000 tickets on that show. So that would be nice to be the biggest event we've done. It's an historic event, not just for myself as a promoter, but in Doncaster and all. It's a great opportunity for Mark to watch the champions like your Maxie Hughes. You've got your Terry Harper, Jimmy Joe Flint. All the Doncaster fighters are really on this card, and I think it's going to be a special night that we're not going to forget for a long time. But listen, first stop is obviously next week, which I think is going to be a bumper of a show. I think there might be a few upsets. We've got Keenan Bradley fighting Ben Crocker, which I believe could be the fight of the night, both undefeated for the super lightweight IBF European title. And then we've got Emma Dolan versus Lauren Parker for the British and Commonwealth flyweight title, super flyweight title. So it's a great card. That's first step. And then we've obviously got the May, and then we've just been announced a huge show in Ireland back into June. So that's going to be announced as well in the next an hour or so. By the time you've got this interview out, Eamon, it'll be already out on social. So I can tell you, we've got a huge card coming in Ireland as well.
Yeah, can you tell us about that card? Who's featuring on there?
Listen, we want Hughie Fury to top it. But listen, there's no secret. I want it. If he's going to top the card, it's going to be a real serious fight. We're on DAZN. We've got obligation to our broadcasters and obligation to the fans. Because we've been saying it for a while. And I believe Hughie Fury's still got it in him. I believe he'll take them big fights, and we're trying to make a huge fight to top the bill in Ireland. But nothing's on the line. But we're definitely going there, and he's going to be on. But I think it's still kind of not signed and sealed yet. But a show will be happening, and GBM will be our first show abroad, kind of thing, away from the English soil. So yeah, it'll be nice, something interesting.
You mentioned in the launch press conference about getting the fight over the line between Harper and Zimmerman is the work you've done working with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom to get that fight. You seem to have kind of avoided the promoter politics and some of the back and forths. What's been your secret to not get on the wrong side of the promoters?
So we're in a tough business, and I think it's only made easier if we work together as promoters and the fans get what they want. Because what you see in these circumstances when promoters are kicking off each other or not wanting to work with each other, the fights don't happen. And ultimately, the fighters suffer. They suffer financially. The fans suffer because they don't get to see what they want, the fights they want. And I'm a kind of a new generation of promoter. I like to think, just get on with it. I'm in the business to make fights. I'm in the business to work with people. And the fact we're on the Matchroom and GBM are on DAZN made it so much easier. We're on the same broadcasting partners. Credit to Matchroom because they're so easy to work with. They understand how much this means for Terry Harper. They understand what a kind of historic night will be and the magnitude of show is going to be for Terry Harper and a legacy. This is huge for Terry Harper to defend a world title in a hometown in a football stadium with 10,000 people there. And they made things easy. So credit to Matchroom and Eddie and Frank Smith. And yeah, hopefully this will be start of many relationships like we need. Queensbury guys already been speaking to one or two fights that could happen. And I think you're going to see you have seen the dynamics of boxing change with stuff happening in the Saudi, and you're going to see fighters on other cards, and we might have a GBM fighter on their card, but on the home corner, and means we might put a couple of fighters on top end fighters on our card. I'm up for all them kind of solutions as long as we make the fights. The fighters get what they want. The broadcaster get what they want. It should be happy days, and makes the sport stronger.
Do you want a bit of the back and forth and a bit of the needle with promoters because it is a fast track way to promote your fighters off the back of that, and you grow your profile, you grow your fighters' profile.
Yeah,
Do you feel like you're missing
listen,
out a little bit?
yeah, but listen, people say that to me. Oh, you couldn't blow your profile out of the way, but I don't enjoy being a cunt. That's not my style. It's not my trait. Yeah, I'll be me, and I don't need to. I don't want to act in a certain way just to get the numbers. I understand the commercial value to it, but I'm not going to do something that's ethically against me, and I'm not going to call names out just for the sake of the numbers. Yeah, I want to promote a fight. I'm a promoter, and I can do that. I think you can't kid people too much. Good fights get promoted yourself, and people understand. But I don't think you'll see me having back and forth. And on the other hand, I don't think many promoters want back and forth with me anyway. And so it makes it easier. But no, that's not my style. I'll do me. I don't need to come into this game I think you've seen certain promoters come in there and they're trying to have a dig at Eddie and have a try to so appreciate what the guys have done. You know, I don't need to bow down to him, but I just appreciate what Frank Warren's done and how how resilient he's been in this game for so many years to be as a promoter and what Eddie Hearn's transformed the kind of outlook to boxing with doing massive stadium fights and big arena shows. Just appreciate it, but I think if you're confident in your own ability, you don't need to go down having to dig at any other promoter. I'm extremely confident, me as a promoter. Honestly, I think I can do it well. I know the game. I've been a former fighter. Been in this game for 21 years. It's not a fluke I've got here. It's not a fluke. We're one of the probably leading, fastest growing promotion outfits in the country, potentially Europe, potentially the world. You know, the growth has been insane. And it's because we genuinely believe in our product. We believe in our product. I believe in myself as a promoter. I genuinely do. So it's not an act. I'm not bullshitting guys out there. I believe in myself. And now, obviously, the level of fighters are going to improve. I understand, it's a tough business, and we do need to kind of keep developing our stable. That's going to happen in time. And yeah, I don't think it'll be my style to have a dig and just listen. If there's the show that fight to be promoted, I'll promote it. And I think we're doing good numbers anyway. But yeah, I'll do it my way, Izzy Asif way, and GBM way, and it's worked so far. I mean, 3 years in the game, and we've seemed to have done well. So we'll just continue being us.
Okay, maybe you don't have to be a participant, but what about a judge in the war of the words between Eddie Hearn and Ben Shalom? Who's got the one up over the other in the Eubank Jr. and Ben build-up?
Listen, Eddie's good, isn't he? He's been older, he's been around the game a longer, so I'll probably give 1-0 to Eddie. But listen, credit to Ben. He's keeping in there, showing a good front. And listen, I like them both. And Ben's helped me out when I first started promoting Ben Shalom. So I can't really turn me back on Ben because he's always been good with me. And Eddie, from what dealings I've had with Matchroom and Eddie, they've been good with us. They've been brilliant. So I don't care. I don't listen to hearsay. People said this about them. That I take people for how they deal with me. And so far, they've both been bang on. But I'll have to give a sneaky 1-0 to Eddie in there potentially. But listen, there's a long way to go. There's 6 or 7 weeks that fight.
Yeah, it's quite a while yet. A few more digs to go.
You might see a few more digs, a late comeback from Ben Shalom. You never know. So listen, good luck to them both, and it's gonna be a cracking event, and credit to them all for putting it together.
In amongst the promotion, you've obviously gone the traditional route to put on proper traditional boxing fights, but we've seen promoters, even the most staunch and entrenched promoters in boxing, like the likes of Eddie Hearn, dip into the YouTube world, and you really kind of opened up that sphere of your Jake Pauls, Logan Pauls, and such. Have you ever thought about the crossovers through it all? Has that ever been your bag?
Yeah, look, of course. Of course, it's appealing because the numbers are insane and the finance is great. But I really am a boxing diehard. I'm a boxing through and through. 21 years in the game as an amateur, as a pro fighter, as a boxing coach, running a non-profit making amateur boxing gym, and now obviously as a manager and promoter. I really boxing's in my blood, so it really would be hard for me. It's got to be seriously lucrative, and it's not just about lucrative for me. Because if GBM are financially in strong position, so are my fighters, so is the stable. So that's what you've got to look at sometimes. But so at the moment, I'm just focusing on fighting. I do get it. I understand it. It's not for me because like I keep saying, I'm a proper boxing man. But they do it. I understand why they do it, and the numbers insane. The money's good, and it's good for boxing because it gets eyes to boxing. And then the one thing we can learn from the YouTubers and these is how they promote themselves so much. And a fighter building this, so you can look at these guys and how they build a name, build a brand. We can learn from that kind of stuff. And look, at the moment, no, but never say never in boxing. Anything can happen, but we're focusing on putting proper fights on with proper fighters who worked so hard to get to that level and keep enjoying the journey.
So would you get it if Anthony Joshua did take on Jake Paul next year?
Yeah, I understand it completely. I completely understand. Do I agree with it? Not particularly, but I completely get the commercial sense. I get why they're doing it. I get why Josh's doing it. Should it dampen Joshua's legacy? Maybe not, because he's done extremely well, hasn't he? Even though his losses are done, he's done massive for British boxing, the world boxing. He's really put a lot of people on the map and the stadium shows. He's the one who's kind of turned it into that. He's made boxing popular in many ways. So I don't agree with it. Would I be tuning to watch it? Probably not. Probably, maybe, I don't know. If I'm free, I might do it, but I get it. I get why they're doing it, but not for. There's other fights out there, but people want to see that Joshua could make, and I'm sure they will. But if he does it for his own legacy. Good luck to him. Does it for his own gains, and Match will do it for his own gains. I understand the numbers, and they'll do insane numbers. And it brings eyes to the show, so I do understand that aspect as well. It brings eyes to boxing, but it's so hard, when you're a boxing purist to accept fights like that. It's hard. It's fighting against everything that you've done for 20 odd years of your life. It's hard to accept them kind of fights.
Is a great conversation. I'll leave the final word with yourself. Why should people tune in next week, Friday, for Shakan Pitters versus Blenda dos Santos? I should be there in person as well to watch the fight, and also for 23rd of May, Harper versus Zimmerman.
April the 4th, York Hall, live on DAZN, the home of boxing. You've got three cracking title fights on. Let me start at the bottom. We'll go with Emmett Dolan versus Lauren Parker, the British super flyweight Commonwealth title. Massive fight for Emmett Dolan. Lauren Parker, former European champion, is going to come and take the scalp. Full fight for her. And we've got the fight that I believe could steal the show. Ben Crocker versus Tina Bradley, undefeated, 14-0 versus 10-0 for the super lightweight IBF European title. Be the fight of the night. And then we've got this big one, Daniel Santos versus Shakan Pitters for the light heavyweight European title fight. Me, Shakan Pitters is going to be 110% at the best of his career to take this belt away from Daniel Santos, who's extremely confident. The only time he's come here, he's lost to Boatsy, lost to Boatsy on British soil. He wants to redeem himself. He wants redemption. So I think it's going to be a real backing night. 3 title fights can go either way. And on top of that, we've got Hughie Fury, Kieran Malloy, Ed Hardy, and Gradus Kraus in all good fights. We're going to want to make a noise and really want to make a statement. And so it's a great night, all live on DAZN, Friday, 4th of April.
Izzy, pleasure. Looking forward to it. Thanks for speaking to Seconds Out, and we'll catch up very soon.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.